Hello, Miss Murphy.
Hi.
May I call you Allie?
Yeah.
We've gone over all the informed consent. You understand the limitations and whatnot. Do you have any questions? Good, good, good. So what can I help you with today?
I guess I've just been having kind of a hard time. I went through a breakup recently. We were together for kind of a long time, so I guess just kind of feeling kind of like hopeless.
How long is kind of a long time?
We were together for 5 years, so
No small chunk of change.
yeah. I mean, we weren't engaged, but we were still together for a while.
Did you want to be engaged?
I thought so. I don't know. I guess I'm not really sure anymore. I guess the main thing is, like, I feel like I just don't know who I am outside of that relationship. Like, we were together for so long that, like, being with him was kind of part of who I am. So
It was almost routine.
yeah. And, like, I mean, just the idea that we weren't going to get married, I mean, like, now, that just seems so bizarre. Like, it was kind of just, like, set, like, oh, of course that's gonna happen, kind of. And so now I just feel like my whole world is turned upside down, and, like, all of the future plans that I had, like, kind of don't exist anymore.
So, it sounds like your future plans included marriage.
Yeah.
His did not?
They did, I guess. I mean, I think I'm sure he's probably still gonna get married someday. It's not so much that we broke up because we had, like, different ideas for the future, and I think that that's maybe, like, one of the harder parts of the breakup. The fact that we still wanted the same things. I guess he just didn't want them with me.
If you don't mind my asking, how did the breakup happen?
It was kind of a long time coming.
Was it, I mean, I hate to interrupt, but was it your decision, his decision, or mutual?
He initiated, but it was like a conversation. It wasn't necessarily just, oh, I'm out, you know? Like, it was kind of mutual, but he initiated.
But you just said it was a long time coming, so were you kind of expecting it in that conversation?
It's kind of like in hindsight's 20/20, right? So looking back, I'm able to pick out all these reasons for why we shouldn't be together.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment, I'm not sure that before he initiated the conversation that I thought it was that bad.
And you are 24?
Yes.
It's 5 years. Started dating at 19. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I don't know how to date in my 20s. I'm kind of scared, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically all of my adult life, he's been my partner, you know? So kind of figuring out what it even means to be an adult and single. Like, I guess I always saw myself as being a really independent person. But now I find myself kind of feeling freaked out by simple things.
Such as?
Well, like I've never ever had test anxiety before, and I had a test. I had a test in school last week, and I was so freaked out by it. Like, it's never bothered me really before. I've always been fairly confident going into like a test and academic. Like, I'm super comfortable with school, but I was, yeah, like practically had a panic attack. I was so freaked out by it. So I think that it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe been like an ego bruise or like self-esteem blow. I don't know.
Well, how do you feel? Are you sad? I mean, I hate to belabor the point, but if you saw it coming, you must have known there were some things wrong. Is the ego bruise perhaps that he got to it before you? Or is it, what is it?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm paid for.
I feel like looking back I saw it coming, and I guess maybe part of it is that he got to it first maybe, but I think more than anything else he was like the one like really consistent person in my life for the last 5 years. So having someone for 5 years tell you that like they're gonna be there forever, even if things weren't like super happy at the end, like for him to not be there anymore, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of like feels it kind of feels like I'm alone.
It's not uncommon. I mean, 5 years is a long time, especially with, you know, a romantic partner. It's kind of funny how that relationship pattern works over time of honeymoon and then consistency, and then you can either work or let it go stale. And it seems like that plateau splits. And in either case, after you've hit that point, and it's been so routine for especially 5 years, I mean, it seems like that's kind of what happened. Do you feel like you just got too comfortable and things weren't?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're romanticizing the past?
I think that when I started the relationship when I was 19, I was a teenage girl, you know? So, like, I started a relationship thinking, like, oh, he's the one, it's perfect, blah, 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 you know? And, like, looking back, it's kind of ridiculous, but kind of, I'm not sure I know how to explain it.
You were clouded by love.
I guess so. But I think more than anything else, like, I still had that 19-year-old, like, fairy tale in the back of my head. And I guess now I just feel completely jaded.
It's not uncommon. very. Let me ask you this: how was the last year of your relationship? Were you living together, and if so, how was it? Was it more good than bad? Where were we at?
I'd say it was more neutral than bad, but there wasn't that much good. He's kind of a workaholic, so he was gone a lot. I'm in school, so I'm busy all the time. Yeah, so it was almost more like we were living together as roommates than as partners. The last, say like the last year.
If I had a nickel. If I had a nickel. That's super common, and if you, I could lend you a book. It's a great book by Eric Fromm. It's called The Art of Loving, and he describes relationships as work, and almost in art form. And so many relationships fall into that pattern of becoming roommates instead of partners, and what you're going through is incredibly normal. And from where I'm sitting, from what you've told me, I think it might be best for you. I can't say that for sure. I mean, that'll take a few more sessions at a higher billing rate. Just kidding. But could you feel the plateau happening when it became roommates instead of partners? Not a specific date, but just a time.
Kind of. I mean, like I talked to my best friend about everything, and so, like, I know that I complained a lot more in the last year about, like, they're not really, I don't know, like about him not really being around. I felt like he wasn't really present in my life anymore.
How so? Just conflicting schedules, or?
Mainly conflicting schedules. And I mean, he used to like spend more time with my friends and family and stuff like that. And I mean, I feel like I was, even in the last year, still putting a decent amount of effort to be a part of his life.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were putting in more effort to be a part of his life than he was in putting in to be a part of your life?
Yes. Yeah.
Did this cause a sort of resentment or just ill feelings, or?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like because it wasn't always like that. I mean, it was mainly in the last year, really, that he stopped, like, putting in as much effort. But I felt like it was, I don't know, I felt like that it would turn around.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. You can think on this. Are you more upset because you're worried about the future by yourself, or are you more upset because you've lost him?
That's a good question.
Take your time. It's
It's been 15 minutes. I think that I'm more I'm more upset that I miss what we had before, not that what we had in the last year. I think that I had hoped that the relationship was gonna turn around and that it would work out. And I guess part of me kind of resents him a little bit because I feel like he gave up before he needed to.
Can I ask you another quick question? I realize time is running short, but might it be possible for you to find that with someone else? And if that's the case, I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like your world is open to that now. You're not bound by convenience anymore.
Yeah.
You're just bound by possibility.
I guess part of me is nervous about that. I'm not sure
That's perfectly fine.
that it
Normal.
can happen. I don't know.
I mean, these are all just normal feelings, especially right after a break. I think you'd be fine. And you can see my secretary for billing info.